Hello, hello, good evening. Buenas noches. Oh, sorry, sorry. Didn't expect to sneeze on y'all. Um, Whoops. Hello, everybody. I apologize for my tardiness. It's a Wednesday where the house cleaner came, so those days are always a little harder for me to get my stuff together. How are y'all doing? Hello, everybody. I see in the chat, Kay and Jess and Aileen and Eleanor and Cheryl and Alicia and Dee and is it Shalaga Joseph? I'm not sure. I don't want to mispronounce your name. But hey y'all, how y'all doing? Um, I am doing pretty good. If you're over on Instagram and you saw the live I did, was it yesterday? You know, my sense of time is all out of whack. You know that I needed to get a little rest because turns out I had a trip next week that I didn't even realize was happening next week. Such is my life. Ah, Sheila. Okay, I got you now. I got you. So hey y'all. Um, so tonight we are talking about well, okay, here's the thing. If you've looked at the title of this video, do you need or should you take a vacation, a sabbatical, a retreat? What is the best option for you? It might be easy to assume that this video is about persuading you to take time off or take time away or that that is a good idea. That is not what I want to talk about tonight. I think between myself, Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow, and some other folks, I think we've done a fairly good job at explaining to you why you absolutely should take some time off. The question is not if, now the question is really kind of how, like what makes the most sense for your situation. Um, we're going to talk about choosing the right kind of break for you. Before we jump into that, just in case there are new people here and maybe the YouTube algorithm is algorithming and bringing my videos to somebody new, let me say hello and welcome you to the Picky Girl Nation. I'm Adelia Abora Sade, and this is my channel. Piggy Girl Travels the World. It is where I do my best to demystify travel, money, and everything in between in support of women like you who want to pursue living life on their terms and not society's. Um, that's exactly what I did back in 2014. Um, I ditched the people and the places that were no longer serving me and moved abroad, which was a lifelong dream of mine. And I share all about that on this channel as a financial educator. That's like my official job, I guess. And the co host and co creator of Reclaim the Retreat. It is literally my job to help you live your best life. Uh, and if that sounds like the kind of thing you're into, if I sound like your people, be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, do something like that. That way, YouTube knows, hey, you want more of this kind of content, and they'll keep it showing up on your feed. All right. So, I'm noticing there are a lot of familiar names in the chat. So I know a lot of this is going to be very preaching to the choir. But sometimes we have to hear some things that we all know, multiple times in multiple ways before we finally have that aha moment and things click. Okay. So, you know, I'm not here to persuade you to take a break because you need a break. You probably have desire for a change of scenery. You're probably a little tired. Capitalism is exhausting. Maybe you want to like unwind or unplug or maybe de-stress. Capitalism is very stressful. Or maybe you have a desire to explore new things, try new things. Or maybe you need a break because you want space to think and reflect, and that's very hard to do when you capitalisming. You know what I mean? Okay, so those are all reasons why you should take a break. Um, One of the things that was not on my list was that you deserve a break. That's not even a question. That like goes without saying. I love this, Asia. Say the choir is ready to receive. Um, so, so those are all like those are probably some of the pressing things that happen or we experience, and we're like, oh, I could use a break. So then the question is, um, well, what should I do? Where should I go? Okay. And the answer for that is not going to be the same for everybody. Um, you know, and Watson says, for how long to take a break? Well, I think that really depends because what is the goal? What is driving that need to get away? So let's kind of dig a little deeper on the three main getaways that we're going to talk about tonight: sabbaticals, vacations, and retreats. Vacation is probably the easiest thing to do. Okay, and let's be clear on what we're calling a vacation. This is an extended period of leisure and recreation away from your everyday routine, time off from work, time off from school. Um, Vacations tend to be on the shorter side of things, particularly for those of us in the US American system, because the vast majority of people, if they have paid vacation time as one of their work benefits, it's probably like 2, 3 weeks, maybe if they're really fancy, 4 or 5 weeks. Um, Now, vacations have fairly easy logistics. Like, you don't have to do any planning to make a vacation happen. You could now, or you could do all the planning. But if you're tired, if you want a break, you probably aren't feeling in the mood to do lots of planning. So, a vacation is when you would like book an all-inclusive stay at an all-inclusive resort. Maybe you get a package deal like Delta Vacations. You can just go on their website right now and they've got a destination, they've got a hotel, they've got flights wrapped in it, and they might throw in a rental car. Those are the three biggest things that you have to book. They may even have suggestions for activities, or you could work with a travel agent and basically say, these are my dates, this is what I want to do, and let them do all of the work. That's what a travel agent should be doing for you if you choose to use one. So it's fairly easy to go on vacation, assuming you've got the time. Um, Now, on a vacation, you can do as little or as much as you want to do. Some folks' idea of vacation is I want to be by the pool, by the beach, with a drink in my hand and a book in my lap. But then there are other people who are like, let's go hike this volcano, and then we're going to take macrame class, and then we're going to do, I don't know, they have a pole dance class. They want to do all of the activities. There is no real right or wrong way to do a vacation. Okay. It's about, well, what do you want to do? What do you, because remember our definition, leisure and recreation. What do you consider to be a leisure activity? What I consider to be a leisure activity and what you consider to be a leisure activity may very well be different things. I have said on this channel on more than one occasion. I do not like the beach. I do not like the ocean. I do not like the sand. I do not like the salt. I do not like the heat. So, a vacation for me is not, let's go to the beach. I don't know if that's going to be recreation leisurely for me. Um, I don't know about that. When I took my first vacation, I felt so guilty just wanting to rest. The guilt and anxiety about ruin this trip. And okay, like I said, our purpose tonight is not to tell you like and to discuss should you be taking a vacation, but I got to say something about this because the system in which we are existing will have you believing that you don't deserve to take time off, or that not working, not hustling, not producing is weakness. It is a failing. Therefore, taking a vacation also is. What was it? Was it the video I did last week about 8 things you got to let go of? And that that guilt, that connection to like hustle culture, uh we have let go of that around here. So I hope, Tracy, you were able to enjoy that vacation and not let that get in the way. But if somebody is watching this and Tracy's comment resonates with you, girl, you deserve all the rest. And as Trisha Hersey said in Rest is Resistance, it is our birthright. So don't you ever feel like you don't deserve a break and you don't deserve rest. All right, I see I have another anti-sand person here. Yeah, like it, that is not enjoyable for me. So if I'm going to do a vacation where I'm trying to relax, have fun, that's not it. I mean, was it last year? I went to Zihuatanejo for my birthday, which is a beach destination, but I made a point to book a penthouse that was not on the beach. Like we looked at the water, but that trip was not about being in the water or interacting with the sand. You said it, Janae. We deserve rest more than anybody else. Absolutely. Okay. So, what if you're early in your career? I would say, and I'm assuming you're asking that question coming from a place of like limited time off, or maybe you're asking that question coming from a place of, I'm trying to make strives in my career, and I'm trying to look like a team player, and I don't want to look like I'm slacking. Well, I think if it's for that second part, I think that those are all bogus reasons not to take a vacation or take time off. Um, because you can, okay, so let's say you gonna play the game and you're not gonna take the time off because you're gonna put in those extra hours, you're gonna look be productive. You want them to see you there hustling. And what's the guarantee that that's going to pay off for you? How do you know that they are even paying attention to the hard work that you're doing or what have you? I'm sorry. I don't believe any longer this new version of me. I don't believe in deferring the things that I need and the things that I want for that stuff. Um, Rest is essential. So is particularly if you have a job where you have vacation days, there is no prize for the person with the most PTO at the end of the year, the end of your career. That's not a virtue. Like suffering is not a virtue. And to me, not taking your PTO, that's suffering. That's unnecessary suffering. So, whether you're early in your career, whether you're mid-career, whether you late career, if you got the vacation time, take it. It is part of your compensation. Like, don't tell me I have this benefit and then get mad at me because 'cause Imma use it. No, Imma use it. And I also think it's part of setting boundaries, uh, because I think we've all worked someplace with someone, I was that someone for other people who like, "Oh, girl ain't gonna be here." It's the day before a holiday, she's taking off time. She is, gonna take off a week here to go do this thing. I was that person. We've all worked with that person. But everybody learns, like, that's who you are. I don't if you wanted me to tell you to, like, put your head down and put your nose to the grindstone and keep working and keep grinding and delay your vacation, I'm not gonna tell you that. I'm absolutely not gonna tell you that. Okay. I love this, Janine. I'm mid-career and I always max out my PTO and I set boundaries. Also, I take 1 to 2 months off in between jobs but if possible. That's I don't think we talk about enough because we are so conditioned that you don't leave a job until you have another job lined up. And that advice is very much coming from a place of fear and lack. And yes, I understand the reasoning behind that advice, but I think we can admit that that kind of advice and subscribing to that kind of logic kind of puts us in this situation that we're in now, but also that it's okay to if okay, this is the financial educator me. Like if you have your oh shit money and your fu money like you supposed to, you can do with that time between jobs what you wish. That you don't have to be, it gives you options. Remember, you don't have to be in such a hard scrabble trying to get another job because of that advice. That's why so many of us end up in new jobs that are rarely better than the jobs we left, because often we move into them because we felt compelled to, because you can't leave this job until you got another job lined up. What, you gonna quit a job and you don't have a new job? And I was that person until, what was that, uh spring 2017, and then again in spring summer of 2020. I quit that job, didn't have no new job. Wasn't like, I was like, F a job. I may never get another job. Okay. All right. All right. So we're talking about vacations, and we're talking about how easy, from a logistics standpoint, a vacation is. The idea behind a vacation is leisure, relaxation, whatever that means to you. And if hiking volcanoes at 6 a.m. is your idea of leisure, so be it. something else to think about on vacation, you can be as social or as unsocial as you want to be. I know, particularly when, let's say, you are traveling and maybe you're staying at a resort and there are all of these activities and, events. This is one of the reasons I don't do cruises primarily because I don't like manufactured fun. You don't have to participate in those things. Remember, you get to decide what you do. Um, it's really about what is fun to you, what is enjoyment. Now, I saw, let me see, did I star the comment? Okay. F doctor. I want a vacation where it doesn't require another vacation. Okay. This is I believe, like I said, I don't believe in manufactured fun. I want to do what I want to do and I don't want to keep going. But also, um, a lot of times we take vacations and don't really feel rested when we come back from them. And so that makes me wonder, like, was a vacation the solution to you to what was ailing you? Was a vacation the right choice? Which leads us to kind of like a vacation can't fix burnout. A vacation can't fix everything. Vacations, the reprieve that we get from going on vacation, the reduction in stress, the relaxation, um, with a vacation that's a few weeks long, if it is that long, it's temporary in nature. It's usually not going to be enough to create long term, like lifestyle changes. And so you got to ask yourself if you are tired, you are stressed, you want space to think or unwind, is a 1 or 2 or 3 week break away and vacation. Notice I didn't say you actually have to go anywhere for a vacation. You don't. You can have a vacation at home. We all know the term staycation, but you got to ask yourself, is that amount of time, am I going to be able to fix what's causing this in that amount of time? And so a vacation might not be the best option. Um, then that leads us to retreats. And as I mentioned in my introduction, I happen to host retreats with my business partner, Ivana Robinson. And retreats are not vacations. And I think that's a very important thing to clarify, that they are not the same thing. When you go on vacation, you make up the rules. You get to call the shots. You get to decide on what's going to happen. A retreat is different than that. It is a very purposeful getaway, time away from your life that has the aim. There's the purpose there to either like provide healing, provide rest, provide rejuvenation. Um, Retreats tend to be structured in nature, whereas a vacation could be many things, but structured does not have to be one of those. Um, a retreat could be as short as like 2 days, as much as 9 days. Um, but the biggest difference is the set itinerary. It's not just about, hey, we're going to kick it by the pool, we're going to go out dancing. There is a certain expectation that you are going to like follow the itinerary, you're going to participate in the activities, because with a vacation, you're picking the things and the activities based off of your likes. At a retreat, whoever has designed that retreat has put together the itinerary, the activities, the experiences with the goal in mind that the retreat is centered all around. And so a retreat should be relaxing, but when you come back from a retreat, you should feel different. Different might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. It's whether it's a like wellness retreat, um, like fitness retreat, yoga retreat. I saw there's somebody I follow on Instagram. She hosts a grief retreat, which sounds weird at first, but if you are someone who needs like some space to process grief, getting away from your everyday life seems like an obvious way to give yourself that space and that time to do that. So at the end of the retreat, yes, you will have rested, but you also might have like new, I don't know if I want to say new desires, but like stuff you need to address. It may have unearthed some, like if you go to a wellness retreat and you're having these super healthy meals and you're doing physical activity every day, and then you go back to your everyday life and you're kind of faced with like, oh, the life I was living, my everyday life doesn't support this lifestyle that I embraced for this week, and I want to change that. There's going to be some kind of possibly a conflict between the way you had been living your life and the moves and the changes you want to make moving forward. Um, you might have to, there might be changes to your perspective, to your practices, or what have you, going on a retreat. Now, I can look in the chat and I know that there are several folks here who have been on a retreat that might want to say something about how that experience was different than going on a vacation. Um, let's see. I marked somebody. Okay. I don't come back from a vacay feeling refreshed. I come back from a vacay dreading the life that I'm coming back to. Year 4 of being a teacher, and I'm ready to call it quits. Um, okay. If if you coming back and it's again, suffering is not a badge. If you hate Monday mornings, you come back from your vacation and you're like, oh, that tells you something got to change in your life that that a vacation cannot fix. It's not that you just needed a break. What that vacation is doing is highlighting that there's some other things that need to change. And as a former teacher, I'm gonna tell you at year 4, girl, quit. Get out now. Don't don't give your youth to education. Um, I'm sorry. I wish I had more positive things to say about it, but I don't. Get out now. Get out now. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Um, oh goodness, somebody else here. Packing for my cruise now, wondering why I feel so stressed. I'm a middle school paraprofessional, but work. Oh, you've done your time. You've done your time. Oops. I was trying to mark that with a star. Okay. Janae, I've been to 2 reclaim retreats. When I come back home, I have an action plan, renewed purpose, new friends that are accountability partners. And those aren't things that you go on vacation to get. So there is definitely, I want us to make sure we get the difference between going on vacation and when you choose to go on a retreat. Now, um, I am curious, do you okay, like, of course, there is Reclaim the Retreat, which I host, which I think is awesome. Okay. We just wrapped up one this past weekend in North Carolina. And as I said, retreats should have a focus to them, whether it's fitness, wellness, yoga, grieving. Our retreat this past weekend was focused on dreaming and getting in touch with that part of ourselves that dreams, because that's a hard thing to do in capitalism. Um, but there's also, if you're looking for, if you're looking for wellness, Reclaim the Retreat. Ivana and I are not wellness girlies, but the whole experience, they've been featured in a bunch of magazines and websites like Essence and all that kind of stuff. If you are looking you're like, I want to take back control of my health, I want to eat better, I want to de-stress, I want to do some yoga, the whole experience retreat, I would highly recommend them. They have them in different places around the world. Um, Costa Rica, Thailand, they've done South Africa. I think they did one in Mexico. Um, and if y'all know of any other retreats that or ones that you've been on, ones that you're considering, drop those in the chat so we can share those. Um, and there's the, I think, like the big daddy or the big mama of breaks, sabbaticals. I see Shonda, congratulations. I'm quitting May 31st and taking a sabbatical for 6 months. This has been a long time coming, so I'm so happy for you. So happy for you. Um, Danielle says, I really need a sabbatical. The only FU money I have are some retirement accounts. I'm highly considering just taking the hit on the taxes, withdrawing early. I need a few months off. I understand where you're coming from, but I say maybe that's like the move of last resort. Do you know how much money you need to take the sabbatical? Do you have a dollar amount? If you don't, that's where you need to start. Because that might seem like the obvious place for the money to come from, but you may have other options, but you can't really start weighing how I'm going to pay for this until you know what it is going to cost you. Okay. Um, thought somebody else made a sabbatical comment here. Cheryl, might have been you. I'm in need of something. I retired early, then boom, I spent last year helping a loved one who experienced medical challenge. No regrets, but now it's time to pour into myself. So yes, sounds like you do need something. You need some time away. And so hopefully our conversation tonight helps you figure out whether that time away you need is a vacation, a retreat, or a sabbatical. And for those of you in here who have taken sabbaticals, feel free to drop some advice in the chat. Now, a sabbatical is, like I said, kind of the big mama of taking time off and taking a break. This is a period of leave, usually granted for work or for study or to travel for a few months. Um, I think about sabbaticals, or at least I used to, in the traditional sense of like college professors taking a sabbatical where they give up their teaching duties and they work on a book, they do some research, that sort of thing. But we have expanded the definition and the idea behind sabbaticals. I think of sabbaticals now more like mini retirements. And I really wish, okay, so for those of you that are here today live and those of you in the future that are watching that are early in your career, I want you to adopt this kind of thinking about mini retirements, MINI retirements. This idea that I've got to work 30, 40 years and then I can take off and enjoy myself, that is trash. That is obsolete. We are not doing that anymore. That's capitalism talking. That does not serve you. What that does is shorten your life expectancy and makes you miserable for a really long time. So I think about sabbaticals more like mini retirements in that, think about what you do in retirement, or what we think stereotypically people do in retirement. You stop working, you pursue your interests, whatever they are. Maybe you learn a new language, maybe you take up gardening, maybe you visit some places, and that could be for a couple of months. That could be for a couple of years. And it is okay to come back from a sabbatical and work again. Now, what most folks who take time off like that, where they've got that complete freedom to sort of do whatever they want, they come back and they look at the life they had before and they're like, I don't want that life again. Now, we often hear, particularly in the circles, Exodus Summit and all of that, we hear about so many people like, I took the sabbatical, I don't want to go back to work, um, which is a real thing. But a lot of it is, I took my sabbatical and I don't want to go back to that job, which is okay because that's the whole point. It's okay to come back to do something new. I think a lot of the hesitancy we saw so long around the idea of taking a sabbatical was because capitalism has us thinking about our careers as sort of like a reality TV game show. Like, if you're not always in there fighting, hustling, and doing all that, you're going to lose your spot and you get voted off. Like, it is perfectly okay to pivot and say, I did this kind of work. I don't enjoy that. That life doing that doesn't fulfill me, and I want to do something else. And for the young people, I think about like how differently I would have approached work had I been thinking about not working at some point. Because I mean, now y'all tell me if I'm wrong, but when you got like your first big girl job, your first grown up job, were you thinking about, at some point, I will not want to work anymore, whether that's at 65, whether that's at 50, whether that's at 40, whether that's at 35? Because if I would have thought, I didn't even think it was possible to stop working on purpose. If I had had that in mind, the kind of work I did might have been different. The shit I put up with at work might have been different, and I might have handled my money in a different way because I would be thinking about a time when I did not work that was of my choice. Okay. Shonda's for her sabbatical, she's enrolled in a language school in Paris and will be learning the culture to apply for an entrepreneurial visa. So that's kind of your next step after your sabbatical. My manager took a sabbatical and left the company a year later. I'm going to say that's probably more common than not, because I think it goes back to what Sheila said before about, you take vacations hoping that they will fix the underlying issue, and you come back from that vacation and you're just like, if anything, the vacation opens your eyes to how this life, this job, whatever, isn't what you want. And I think for a lot of us, we don't have the language. We don't know that there are options available that, like, yeah, you ain't got to go back to that. You get to choose something new. And it doesn't matter if you are 29 choosing something new or if you're 59 choosing something new. I think that's the other thing too. We get very caught up in, well, this is the career I chose, or I got a good job and I can't give that up. Well, if the good job is making you miserable, I don't think you should stay there. Okay. I didn't consider it until a few years ago, didn't think it was possible until your side business picked up. Like, I I'm still in dreaming mode from this past weekend's retreat, and I think we often limit ourselves, and I'm not blaming us. It's the system wants us to limit ourselves because the system doesn't want us to imagine a way of living where we're not an integral part. We're not a cog in the machine. So, you know, I think that's why there is so much kind of like negativity and, for lack of a better word, trash talk about like the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. That's why, that's one of the reasons why we see so many people in management being like, we need everybody back in the office because these like working remotely, taking time off, taking a sabbatical, whatever, what that does is that gives us a peek into another way of living that is outside of this system. And if enough of us get unhappy with this system and know and understand that there are other options, the system cannot persist, and they don't want that. They don't want that. That's why companies don't want us to take sabbaticals. They know a lot of people won't want to put up with it anymore. No, because it changes the dynamic. Think about when you go to job interview. It's all about you trying to get them to pick you. But in reality, they should be trying to get you to pick them as well. It should be more like a date than an interview, because you're supposed to be getting something out of this relationship with your employer. It's not just about, you proving yourself so that they can pick you. You get to pick them as well, but that's not how we're taught. That is not how we're conditioned. um we're again, it goes back to that you shouldn't leave a job till you got another job lined up. When you take a break, when you take a sabbatical, even when you take a vacation and you travel somewhere or you experience another way of living, even if it's just for a week, think about how powerful that is and how that like shifts how you think about things, even if just for a week. So imagine you've taken a sabbatical for a year. There's no way you're going to just slide back into your same life, particularly if your reason for taking the sabbatical was because you were burned out, because you were super stressed, because, those people at that job wasn't treating you right. Like, all the time off in the world isn't going to change that. What it does is it changes you, and it it teaches you that you deserve better and you deserve more. I'm at that I want to do something else stage now, 53, going on 54, thinking about having substituting as an option, but I want to do commercials, e-learning, documentaries. Do it. Try it. Like, I'm this is something that I had to work on myself, but I am very much all about, at this point in my life, removing any of those limits. We can do what we want to do. It might work, it might not work. That's not what's important. But staying in a place and suffering with a life, a job, a person that ain't right for us, that is not giving us what we need, Why would we wanna do that? We don't get a medal for that. There is no prize for that, y'all. All right. I agree. I should have thought about a sabbatical thing a long time ago, but I'm doing it in August, going on a cruise, visit some places in Europe. I am tired. And of course, um, if you're hearing, if you're now, I got some wheels turning and you're thinking about a sabbatical and you're thinking, I'm wondering if that is right for me. Um, Two resources for you. I know a lot of y'all, like I said, preaching to the choir. I know a lot of y'all already know about this, but there may be somebody new here that does not, or there may be somebody new who comes through on the replay. Um, Rashida Dow has a program called From Burnout to Bliss that is all about helping you design and plan your sabbatical. I know there are some burnout to blissers in the chat. If there is something, if there's something y'all want to tell people who are like, hadn't thought about this taking a sabbatical thing before, but maybe it's something I can do. I don't know where to start. Tell them about Rashida's program, what you got from it. And of course, Exodus Summit. Um, which is put on by Rashida Dow, Stephanie Perry. It is the preeminent online event for Black women who want to take a sabbatical, who want to move abroad, who want to travel long term, where you can learn, you can hear stories from other women who are doing it. You can learn how to do it, the whole 9 yards. Um, okay, Shonda, I know you did Burnout to Bliss, excellent program, able to move to Mexico in less than a year, now moving to Paris. I know, excuse me. So the point of this video is to help you figure out what kind of break do you need? Because girl, you need a break. Okay. The Balanced Beauty says, I believe a purposeful retreat can provide an avenue to do a sabbatical, to give you time to reset, think on how to create the life you truly want, if not ready to jump into a sabbatical. I completely agree. The thing about retreats, particularly ones maybe that are centered around like personal development, um, can help you like kind of connect the dots. Like, you don't want this thing, you like this thing, but you're maybe not seeing how to get from point A, B, and C. And the time on a retreat can go a long way with helping you figure out, oh, this is how that goes together. These are the steps that I need to be taking. Okay. All right. Sassy V, you said it, 41. I'm ready for a different life. I love traveling. That's what makes me happy. These 5, 6 day vacations aren't cutting it at all. So you need to make a change. And so whether that is going on a retreat, something like a Reclaim the Retreat, where literally that is what we do. We help people put together their plan to make their change, or attending something like Exodus Summit, which Exodus Summit typically happens around Indigenous Peoples Day in October. But if you've not attended, you can buy the replays of the previous year. So, like, you can watch 2023 and all of the awesomeness that was that. You don't have to wait until Exodus Summit 2024. I know Rashida's program From Burnout to Bliss has helped tons of women kind of figure that out. Like, I want to travel. How can I do this? How can I structure this in such a way that it is feasible for me? And if y'all know of another resource or program, please drop that in the chat. Um, because ultimately, what I want is for you to be able to take the time away to figure it out. Figure it to get the rest you need to figure out what is the change that you need to make in your life and develop a plan, or to go ahead and take that sabbatical, take off the time, create a new life. Um, I I didn't I don't think I intentionally took a sabbatical. After I worked in Honduras for a year, my employer and I parted ways, because we could not agree on what work I should be doing, and I opted not to, look for another job because I didn't feel like it, and that was the first time in my life, probably since I was 15 years old, that I did not work, that I did not go look for a job. Um, and I spent a little bit over a year in Mexico, based in Mexico. I traveled, I did all the things, and I went back to work because I had a kid getting ready to go to college. And as soon as we got to a place that she didn't need my money anymore, I quit my job. Because there was absolutely no way I was going to be able to go back to that part of my life, working in that way. Do I work? Yes, I still work, but I don't work the way that I did before. Okay. Um, that's that's all I got. So, I did want to, I don't know if I told y'all this because y'all know I don't be remembering, but if you are interested or you have questions about my retreat, Reclaim the Retreat, uh, we are having a like info session on Saturday, April 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Um, and if you've got questions or you're like, okay, I don't get how this works. What are we going to be doing in El Salvador? What are you going to be doing in Mexico? Because we have two more retreats for 2024. One of them is in El Salvador, and we're going to be hosting our very first one in Oaxaca, Mexico. If you got questions, you want to know about that, this is your invitation to come to the, I was going to call it an open house. It is not an open house. The info session on Saturday. If you want the link to the Zoom, send us an email at hello@reclaimtheretreat.com. We will send you the Zoom link. I will say it is a live Q&A. There won't be a recording. We are just answering people's questions and talking about what it's like going on one of our retreats this Saturday. So I hope that those of you watching this, these people where I shared your comment and you're like, girl, I need something. I got these vacations aren't cutting it. Okay. I hope I have planted the seed for you to kind of take a step back, look at the life, the job, whatever it is that is causing the distress in your life, making you tired, wearing you down, figuring out what that is. And I hope I have planted the seed that you are going to explore what change you need to make, what is something different you can do to help with that so that you can pivot, so that when you go away for fun and frivolity on vacation and you come back, you're not dreading going to work, because nobody should be living like that, y'all. No, we are not supposed to hate our jobs. I know we've been taught that like our entire lives, but we're not. If we've got to do something in exchange for money so that we can buy the food and the shelter we need, it should be something we enjoy. Or let me caveat that, because work can be just work. You ain't got to love your job, but you should hate it. It shouldn't make you like sick on Sunday night at the thought of I got to go to work tomorrow and I got to deal with them people. Now, work can be something that you absolutely love, but it don't have to be. But what it should be is something that when you clock out, it stays at work. If you're at home feeling tired, upset stomach, headaches, whatever, behind them people at your job, that shouldn't be your job. No. All right, y'all. That is it for tonight. On Friday, this Friday, April 26th, middle of the day, I have a special guest, Halisi of Our Black Utopia is going to come on. We're going to be talking about money, and we're going to be talking about generational wealth. Because of the time difference, I didn't want her staying up super late. This is going to kind of be like a lunchtime live. So think of it as sort of like a lunch and learn sort of thing on Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, because I think it's 10, not 12. Yes, 12 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central here and in Mexico. Okay. That's what we're going to be doing. So I hope to see some of y'all Friday. If not, well, and maybe I will see some of y'all on Saturday. I don't know. Okay. All right, guys. Bye.